Hey everybody, you're watching We the Fandom, where we discuss comic books, pop culture, and the fandom experience. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to see more content. How's it going everybody? Jacob here at We the Fandom. I know it's been a while since my last video, but today is New Comic Book Day, and we're continuing with the story of the Juggernaut in his 5-issue limited series with issue number 3. And I'm going to be doing it a little bit different than I have been with the last 2 issues, because there's basically 2 narratives to the story arc. One of them being how Juggernaut regained his powers after having lost them and being stuck in the dimension limbo, where he had to give up his suit. And the other narrative being him in modern day trying to right his wrongs and doing that with the help of the young mutant D-Cell, who has the ability to slow down the inertia of any object. And she basically has a YouTube channel where she goes around filming the good deeds of Juggernaut to help him build up a new image. And so we're going to be kind of skipping around with the pages a little bit to basically go, basically going to go with one narrative and then the other. And honestly, I think I am partial to one narrative over the other, which I'll talk about at the very end. But basically, the last issue of Juggernaut had him basically having to come to terms with his crimes against humanity after he and D-Cell had captured the immortal Hulk, put him in a containment cell where he kind of stood a trial of sorts with basically a bunch of victims of the Incredible Hulk's many bouts of destruction over the years. Basically, people who came to get closure over the fact that their lives were completely upended or had family members killed by the Hulk. And at the end of it, the Hulk basically just broke out of his containment cell and left, mentioning the fact that Cain Marko, the Juggernaut, has also, committed a lot of the same acts of destruction as the Hulk has. But in his case, he's not a mindless monster. He is a grown man with a fully functioning brain. Definitely not the sharpest tool in the shed, but still, Juggernaut knows what he's doing and making the choice to basically commit the evil deeds that he had in his past. And so this issue picks up after that, where he's basically facing a number of trials. In this one in particular, he's facing the trial being convicted of destroying a man's construction company during a battle with Spider-Man. And funnily enough, D-Cell with her YouTube channel is able to show them a video where the Juggernaut had actually been encased in cement and stuck in the cement for months. And it was actually Spider-Man who was responsible for the damage to the construction company. And only a couple more moments after this, basically the courthouse gets attacked by a giant sand creature who Juggernaut seems to know, and her name is Quicksand. And basically they're fighting her, and they come under the impression that Quicksand is being mind controlled by someone. She's not acting of her own accord. They are able to basically take her down by having Juggernaut throw a giant piece of cement at her head to remove her head. And then D-Cell uses her powers to slow down inertia to basically make the sand that makes up her head inert. And they're able to basically remove the mind control device. And so basically the story ends with damage control, who's been helping Juggernaut and D-Cell kind of clean up a lot of Juggernaut's messes. And basically they come to the conclusion that Quicksand is part of a overarching kind of story where it turns out Arnim Zola, who is a former Captain America villain and Nazi who worked with the Red Skull during the World War II, is basically experimenting on superhumans in a prison and turning them into terrorists, pretty much. And so that basically finishes up the modern story for this issue. Kind of continuing along, the first issue had Juggernaut come out and basically say he was going to try to be a hero, meeting D-Cell, and then her using her YouTube channel to try to help build up a new image for him. Second issue, he fought the Immortal Hulk. The Hulk stood trial. Wasn't really like a real trial. It was more like a kangaroo court kind of thing, but basically standing trial and then revealing to the people that Cain Marko is basically guilty of the same crimes as the Hulk is, and then obviously now him having to actually face some of those people on trial, and I guess they're kind of just trying to skate over that because obviously he's directly moving on to now fighting Arnim Zola. But now that's the end of the issue, but we're going to go back and talk a little bit about the other story arc where Juggernaut basically explains how he regained his powers and a new suit. And so basically has him picking up in North Korea, which is kind of a little Easter egg because North Korea is where Juggernaut originally gained his powers. I think I might have explained the origin in the first issue review, but basically Cain Marko fought in the Korean War, and being overrun in a battle, he escaped to a cave where he found this gemstone, which he was just going to take because he thought it would make him rich. And it turned out to be a gemstone connected to the demon god Sidorak, who basically, the gemstone has an enchantment upon it, kind of a little bit like Thor's hammer Mjolnir, where it picks a host to wield its powers. And basically it picked Cain Marko. And so ever since then, he'd been the Juggernaut up until, I believe, 4 months before the story takes place, where he had lost his powers and got trapped in limbo, and then obviously leading into the current story arc. But he's back in North Korea, going to kind of like a hidden temple of Sidorak. And basically, it's actually called the Forge of Sidorak, and basically meeting with a man who spent his whole life searching for materials to create a Juggernaut suit for himself, hoping that he could become the new Juggernaut. And Cain Marko basically shows up and he's like, I've heard this place, is somewhere I could possibly get my powers back. And this guy is like, well, for decades, I've been searching for these bits and pieces of magical artifacts to create myself a suit, hoping that Sidorak will find me worthy. And when he finds out Cain Marko is trying to regain his powers and that he's the Juggernaut, he basically tries to fight him and probably kill him because obviously this guy wants all the powers to himself. But basically, he ends up hitting, breaking the chain that's holding the suit up towards the ceiling, and it ends up falling down on Cain Marko, where it engulfs him, and he gains the suit that we see now in the current issues. And so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much where it stops, and I guess it tells us how he gained his powers back, which is kind of lackluster in my opinion. I think it could have been a lot more interesting. I mean, it almost seems like they were going with sort of a Doctor Strange kind of thing of him, traveling up into snowy mountains to kind of regain his power. But, there wasn't a whole lot of like struggle seen there. There wasn't like a journey depicted or anything. It was just him showing up, seeing this guy had a suit already made, not for him, but still, and then they get into a little scuffle and basically he gets the new suit. Now we still don't know the extent of Cain Marko's new powers as the Juggernaut. We do know that he had trouble fighting the Hulk, which I think in the past he would have had a little bit less trouble with his old power. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with his character from now on. But that's all I had for you guys today. If you guys are new to We the Fandom, please hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please smash the like, and I will see you all next time.